Hello, 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 all you people, you beautiful people in the chat on both Twitch and YouTube. Tonight is a very special night. While you're waiting, please get your most favorite snack and beverage. We're going to have a good time. We got a special guest waiting for you. It's going to be dope. It's going to be a great time. While you're also waiting, spam the chat with some emotes. Let's see some emote love, some emote hype. Whether you got my emotes, somebody else's emotes, or default Twitch emotes, or YouTube emotes as well. Just go crazy. Yo, 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 people of Twitch and YouTube. We're getting started in just a few more moments here. It's time for the art block. Very special episode, the last episode of September. But it's not going anywhere. We do have guests for October, so, it's going to be here for a while. But make sure you're in your most comfiest chair, man. We're going to be here. We're going to be sitting here. And we're gonna be chatting, and you're gonna be staring at us, and it's gonna be fun. And you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a smile on your face. You're gonna go to bed thinking, man, that was such a great program on the internet. I wish I could watch it every single day. And yes, we should be on Netflix. Yes. One more time. Let me get some emote spam in the chat. We're about to get started. We're about to get ready. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to meet our special guest for tonight, Jimetta Rose. We're going to be chatting with her for a little while. Yes, that's right. You can watch it every single day on YouTube because that's where all the archives live. So if you want to go watch it again, go find your favorite moment, let's go to YouTube. But right now we're live on Twitch and YouTube. So join the community, join the conversation where you see fit. I need more emote spam. I need more than that. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go. That's enough of that clapping. That's enough of the clapping. But what's up, y'all? It's me, your guy, all the way from Bed-Stuy, Habbo, and we're here tonight for another episode of the Art Block, episode 4 to be exact. And we're going to be joined tonight in a few minutes by a very, very special artist that goes by the name of Jimetta Rose. You may have heard of her. You may have listened to her music. She's amazing. You should check her out. But how's everybody doing? How is the chat? How is your day going? How's your night going? What'd you guys get into? Did y'all catch the Nintendo and PlayStation things today? The State of Play and Nintendo Direct? Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Nothing really stood out to me. As far as like the older stuff, like the retro stuff, I was into that, like Nintendo 64. And then that was pretty much it from Nintendo. Like Zelda's whatever. Like I didn't like Breath of the Wild, so I don't know if I would really like the new thing either. I think it's called Tears of the Kingdom or something like that. And then PlayStation, they didn't really show much of anything either. They showed off that God of War trailer at the end, but that was about it. So pretty, as far as gaming is concerned today, this week, it was pretty lackluster. But yeah, games. So far, again, the week is early, but so far everything's going pretty smoothly. I'm getting a lot done. I woke up at like 3 a.m. I don't know why my body was just like, wake up, get some stuff done. So I've been up since then, and I probably need to go to bed fairly shortly because I don't want to have my equilibrium thrown off. I might have to do like some hot yoga or something to get back aligned. I don't know. But Awkward Cat, what's up? Eugenius 930, what's up? Coco Queenie, what's up? Boy Wonder, what's up? Walnut, what's up? On YouTube, and everyone else that's coming in and lurking and hanging out and chatting and all that good stuff. You had school. Well, school is good. You know, you get to learn, you get to meet people, depending on what kind of school you're going to. You know, and it's a great experience. When you say school, you know what? No, I'm not going to add. I'm not going to go further. Anyway, tonight I will preface this really quick. A little disclaimer. Tonight is going to be a little slightly different due to some technical difficulties outside of our hands. We will not be creating art, but we will be creating great conversation, and you're going to love it. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to bring on Jimetta. Let me make sure that I turned off the server mute. All right, and here we... Oh, wait, let me make sure this is on. And here we... Miss Jimetta Rose, how you doing?
Hello. I'm well. I feel good. Happy to be here today.
It's bright over there. I forgot how bright it can be. It's so the time difference always throws me off.
Oh yeah, it's 5. It's 5 here right now. So yeah, we still got like 3 more hours of sunshine probably.
Yeah, lucky you. You got some of your people in the chat right now. You got Mr. Jones, and I believe Eugenius is one of yours as well.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Yeah, those my folks. What's up, Will? And Eugenius is my brother. He got mad dope music, skyscraper rules. Check him out. Hi, Eugene. Yay.
Oh, that's what's up. So for the uninitiated and for the people that are just now meeting you, obviously they know your name, but state your occupation, what you do. Let the people know real quick.
I am a singer and songwriter. Um, Definitely a soul and a body living this life. I founded the Voices of Creation, a choir based out of Los Angeles. We sing to heal ourselves and others through music. And I've been singing on the soul and jazz circuit for over 15 years now. I started in my 20s. And, I've always been singing to heal myself and others. And so I think I'm just getting more um, exact and able to translate and transmute the energies into something that I can offer to the world. And so I'm just out here trying to be my best self, honestly. I am an artist. I do believe everyone's an artist in their own way if they took the time to delve into themselves. And so that's my introduction for myself.
That was beautiful. Actually, I want to jump into. It's great that you said that immediately. I want to jump into the voices of creation. First of all, I love the name because it sounds like something straight out of a '90s sci-fi film. So, how did that come to be? How did
Yeah.
you get all these beautiful people to come together and make this lovely choir?
Well, I started posting on Instagram as I was making the demos. So I sat down with my partner, Jack Maybe, and we crafted the demos of the songs. Um, I had written about 4 songs when we first started, and it ended up being about 8. And now the repertoire has grown. But yeah, I was just posting on Instagram saying that I was going to start this choir, and I will post snippets sometimes, and people paid attention. And so when it was time to quote unquote have auditions, I really had a stream of people that had been expressing interest the whole time. And so, with some of them, if I didn't know that they ever had sang before, I didn't know them as a singer, I would just ask them to send me a voice note to hear their technique and their talent. But really, I was looking for people who were attracted to singing to heal themselves and others through music. And so the range of experience as a vocalist, it's a range within the choir. Some are new to singing, some used to sing in high school, some are professional singers. And so I think it's beautiful to see ego get out of the way and um, community and communion be possible, unity, seeing us all become a closer and closer group throughout a time that was tearing everybody apart with the pandemic. It's just awesome to see that that's the power of music and that's the power of togetherness. And so it's awesome to see the art. And so the voices of creation comes from me thinking that everything that is has a note in the course of creation. And I used to pray that prayer all the time. And so when I began to really seriously think about starting the choir, I was like, oh, that could be the name, the voices of creation. Like as if the sky was singing, the stars are singing, and we're singing with them. So yeah, that's how that came to be.
I love that. That is like the definition of a grassroots movement where you just were posting and you're like, yo, send me a voice note. That's dope. And when you said people who
Yeah.
are new to singing, are these people that are like just learning how to sing, or they already have like talent and they're just kind of like polishing it up?
It was a bit of both. Like, one I feel like everyone has grown in this journey together because the best teacher student relationship is when the teacher is always learning as well as the student. And so I'm very intuitive with my approach to leadership as well as teaching. And so honoring wherever a person is. Because for me, I feel like people are told they can't sing, and so it makes you constrict your body, and you feel like hesitant to let your voice out. But our voices and the words that we use, the words that we speak or sing, they build our world, they build our perspective. And so everyone can sing, everyone can sing, but you have to get people out of their way enough to at least try. Maybe you're trying to sing in a register that's not natural to you. You might need to sing lower, you might need to sing higher, you might need help with your breathing technique, you might need to relax your shoulders. But it's not like it's not I feel it's no such thing as just can't sing. Joy can be expressed through each and every one of us with music. And I think if you get people happy enough to stop thinking about it and micromanaging themselves and critiquing themselves before they even try, I think you'll be surprised by the voices that people have, and they surprise themselves. And I think singing is something kind of innocent. You don't think about it, but when you build courage and confidence in your voice, it helps you to build courage and confidence in your conviction in what you're speaking and saying into your life. And so for me, that's the biggest part of the ministry. I'm not trying to make everybody into like Mariah Carey or anything. I'm just trying to liberate the voices that are there.
So you think my voice can be liberated too?
Totally.
Okay. You gonna help me with that?
Totally. I'm gonna have a Kwanzaa workshop in LA. I don't know, it's kind of hot out here and it's kind of far. But if I could figure
Kinda,
out how
yeah.
to get a bit more technologically savvy, maybe I can offer the classes online and stuff eventually. That would be awesome because it's really about the music spreading. And I figured out that a lot of the songs that I wrote for the choir aligned with the principles of Kwanzaa, and so I shortened them and I teach them to the community, so that we could be Kwanzaa carolers. Because as a kid, I always wanted to carol and Christmas carol, but like it was no snow in LA and it was no organized Christmas caroling in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am, providing that alternative. I think that is a beautiful like childhood memory to be able to give somebody, or adult memory, because a lot of the participants last year were adults. But it's just about, I guess, playing with. I'm here to try to inspire people to let their inner child out, because mine is very alive, and I try to protect her and let her play with others. And so like just reminding us that life definitely comes with its responsibilities and stuff, but ultimately it's a blessing and a privilege to be here in a body. And so like, what are you doing with that blessing and that privilege, aside from suffering or complaining or procrastinating or looking at the challenge, as opposed to thinking about, well, I get to be challenged, because the challenge could be over, and the breath could be gone. So I feel like with singing and with living life, just trying to get as free as we can under the conditions we're living in. And so, why couldn't you sing?
Right. You know what? I could sit here and just listen to you talk. Like you have such a presence. Was this always the case when you were growing up? Were you always the leader and organizing and putting things together?
Uh, Definitely always the hesitant leader. I always had, I had a reading done when I was like 29, and it was like, yeah, when you're 39, you're gonna be doing what you were doing as a child. And I thought that was kind of like crazy, because like I couldn't think of anything. I've always wanted to be a singer, but I couldn't think of anything I was exactly doing as a child that I would be doing now. But um, I do live my life with focus and intention. And so here I am. I used to be the youth choir director at my church, because I was the one that was like, well, these songs I love singing. I love learning all the songs. But I went to an old church, and so the songs were always old. And that was when Kirk Franklin was hot. I wanted to sing more hip songs. Like I was like, I want to teach like the songs. I learned all the parts to, you know, each song, and I would like tell the choir director I wanted to teach it to the kids, and suddenly we had a youth choir at the church. And I used to like write plays for the church. So yeah, I've always been very creative and very much about sharing that with others, like and so it ends up being like, yeah, you're the leader, but I always feel like hesitant to I guess say that describe myself that way, because the way that I lead is very different from how people associate with power. Usually I am definitely embodying divine feminine practices of power, and so I don't argue for control, but I also don't wield control ruthlessly or just haphazardly. Like, it's no reason to have control when everything is flowing the way it should be. And so I just try to create conditions and select people with personalities and the moral compass that can be around each other so that we can flow freely. And then that way the river can just flow. You don't have to be like, oh, let me make sure the river's flowing the right way, or let me tell this person how to be water. Like, no, you should be focused on being water. And that is very important to me in my leadership model. Even as a kid, it was more so, let's play together. And so, like, just being the one with the idea to say let's play together makes you the leader, but everyone in the group makes the group. So
Mm. I love the way you look at that. That's beautiful. Now, you mentioned having a reading and also church. So, would you say you're a spiritual person or leaning more towards religious? And do you also try to incorporate that in your work?
my spirituality is definitely incorporated into my work. It's inseparable from who I am as a person. My journey took me from religiosity into spirituality. I'm very in touch with my understanding of my faith, and I have a lot of respect for people who have built their own faith, whether we agree on how it is practiced. And so I just feel excited about the topic of faith. I think that that is a superpower we have. We don't understand it, yet it does fuel a lot of the accomplishments or um, feats that we see. You have to have faith. Like, the choir was an idea in my mind, and if I didn't have the faith to start to talk about it, just to talk about it. And that's why you have to remember the power of the word, because before I ever sat down with Jack, I talked about the choir to lots of people. I was like, I think I might start a choir. I don't know, I just been writing these songs, and they don't sound like solo stuff. It sounds like I should sing it with a lot of voices. And it just was like in my mind, kind of. But then it started being like, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna start a choir. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start a choir. But then it's like, oh, I'm depressed. I can't start a choir depressed. I can't be a leader or anything in a depressed place. The seed, you can't plant the seed without faith. So if you plant the seed without faith, it definitely wouldn't grow. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait till I feel better. I'm gonna wait till I feel better, and then I'll start a choir. And
Mhm.
and so that's what I did. But I feel like having faith at all in this time is a miracle, and is a superpower, and like, use it. I feel like my faith and my ability to operate from a place of gratitude uh keeps me in alignment with spirit all the time. And so I witness God all around and in every person. I pray to witness the God in myself and in others as I walk through this earth. And so, I hope that answered the question whether I'm religious or spiritual. I
Absolutely.
think that, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm always surprised, and I think maybe most people are, when someone mentions depression, and it's like, oh wait, you were depressed, you had this. So how did you handle that mental health struggle, and in what ways did you learn to kind of like mitigate that from it becoming a major thing in your current life, in your current path?
I definitely feel like there is there are shortcuts to joy, and they're different for each person. But whatever yours is, you know, all you at some point you have to start parenting yourself, and you give that to yourself. And if you can't give it to yourself, you give yourself something else. And so I couldn't comfort myself through some of the challenges I was facing at the time, but I could make up a song about things getting better.
Hmm.
And I could sing that song over and over to myself as things were seeming really bad. And the song itself just helped me to keep putting one foot in front of the other, going to work, just doing what I had to do, but always having these little positive little mantra like songs that were coming up for me, and being excited about what they could possibly be, but also just singing them because they made me feel better. Or going on hikes into nature helps me to feel better. Journaling, writing down my prayers so that I can witness when I receive the manifestations that I'm creating. Um, Witnessing when I am sad, writing and talking about it with God. Trying to process those feelings. And it's like getting to a point now where, because I used to be just like, oh, I need to talk to my friends, I need to talk to my friends about this, I need to talk to my friends. We all have so much that we're juggling in our personal lives, and it doesn't make us less of a good friend or not. It's just a testament to the fact that we are supposed to be regenerative beings. And the only way to get responsible for your emotions and for yourself is to to self introspect. And most people don't have the time to do that in a regular day. And so for me, when I didn't have the time to do that in a regular day life, I start feeling so bad that I had to make time. And it's funny because I became an early morning person now. I used to not be a morning person, and now my body wakes up at 6 a.m., sometimes 5, just because I used to have to get up at that time to get my prayer, and my workout and water my plants, like to have some me time. And so really making it important to yourself, your joy, will help you find it, and making it not someone else's responsibility.
That's actually a really good point. And funnily enough, ironically, today I started my own journal. And I was trying to start this whole thing where I got other people to do it as well. Cause I feel like, and every episode, I always talk about social media because I think it's just around us so much. But I feel that with social media, we overshare so much. And I think we put so much out there where it creates a form of negativity. Whether you're talking about something positive or not, you always have eyes on you. So I want to start this journal thing, so where instead of posting all the time, I'm actually drawing and writing in this book, and that's just for me. That's that self meditation, that self love, and I
Right.
think that could,
Well, it's
you know,
also my bad. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no, it's okay. I was going to say make it less reliant on me having to post. That's all.
Right. Well, it's so crazy because it's like that catch 22 in the life of a creative, because everything you create is really an expression of yourself. It's really for yourself. But we live in a time where, you got to market your creativity, and you want other people to see it, and blah blah blah. So it kind of makes you have to work overtime because you got to make the stuff you share, and you got to make the stuff for you. But you just got to keep the stuff for you as the priority, and you share. Because, like, man, I'm just so grateful for the outlet of the choir, because I mean, those songs would have just been little songs in my head if I, hadn't had a place to share them, right?
Hmm.
But they do have to have that safe space where you can define what it is to yourself. What are you expressing? How do you feel? Is it okay today? Maybe on days you'll start to notice your patterns when you have a journal. Like, I write sloppy, not sloppy because I basically have good penmanship, but
Hmm.
like, when I'm sad or out of it, like, it looks like I don't want to write. It looks like, I feel like this. um And so it's to the point now where, and sometimes I feel so bad that I don't want to write. It was a time where life was so challenging that I didn't keep a journal. And I wrote about that time later, and I didn't want to remember things as well because I have a great memory already. And so then to also have it, to relive the experiences by writing it down, it just was like, yeah, this shit sucks. I didn't want to write it down. But in that time, it was more active of like, be active, go to yoga. That's how I discovered my love for hot yoga. It was very cathartic and it helped me release a lot. And I would feel rejuvenated when I came out. And I was like, oh, okay, this is something I need to do. And it's funny because you'll know that and it'll still slip away from you. I just got back into hot yoga again in the last like 2 weeks, trying to be more like committed about it. But the pandemic threw my yoga practice off, and it was like, oh, well, sometimes when I can make it or whenever I can make it. But like I went one day and I was like, no, it can't be whenever you can make it. You have to make it. You have to make it whenever you can, as opposed to whenever you can make it. Like, it's like, no, no,
Right.
no. Let's add this into our structure. And so I think a lot of times what I've been thinking about lately is how like before we are able to actually like learn how to healthily structure our lives, we've learned to give our time away. And it starts in school. Like, the kids give their time away, and it's like at that time they're giving it away in exchange for like conditioning and education, right? Like social conditioning, how you're expected to be, and education are the like exchange for their time. But if they don't get taught at home to explore themselves, then that's where it begins. It begins right there. So I was lucky enough to be like an only child with parents that were quite older. So I had a lot of time for my imagination to just do stuff. And so when I wasn't at school, my imagination was going to where when I was at school, sometimes I would write poems or something like my imagination was still going. But basically, that system like grooms us to give away all of our time when we to be adults in the exchange for money. But like the biggest thing that you can know while here is not someone else, it's yourself. And if you have no time to contemplate that or to build that or to figure out what's best for you, because this is I feel good when I do this, I need to make sure this is in my life. If you don't have time to kind of savor life that way, um your structure is always going to be someone else's, your paradigm is always going to be someone else's, your perspective even will be someone else's, because you don't have the time to work it out for yourself. And that's my thing about faith. When you figure out faith for real, it's something, not something you believe, not something that someone told you. And so it has to do with, you know if it was supposed to be that we all felt and saw and did the same thing, I guess we would just be a blob of skin and like teeth and eyes on the planet, right? And it wouldn't be a need for there to be separate bodies, separate minds, separate hearts. No, it's supposed to be processing and feeling and deciding what's best for that particular organism. And I think if we all did that more, thought of ourselves as a body, and if you're a cell in a body, are you are you a healthy cell or are you a cancerous cell? I think that we would start to experience a little bit more pleasantries and like less burden in the obligation of living. If you want to call it an obligation, I think it's a blessing.
Absolutely. I had like four questions come out of that from all you said because you just have so many great things that I want to touch on. But the one thing that got stuck on me because I'm just silly like that, hot yoga. So what about hot yoga instead of like regular vanilla yoga? Why are you going to hot yoga?
Well, first of all, I don't like regular vanilla yoga. I
Okay.
felt like I said yoga. But I can't really go to the super. First of all, like when it gets too vanilla, it gets less anchored in the traditions of actual yoga. It's about cosmetics. Like I'm not into yoga to like get a yoga body and to like Oh, yeah, I do yoga 5 times a week, and I'm just trying to maintain my keto diet. Like that's not in the West, that can happen real easy. And I seen it in New York too. Like just like the yoga mindset as opposed to the yoga mind, right?
Yeah.
And a yoga mind, the yogi was always in pursuit of enlightenment. And the whole point of yoga was to get your body quiet enough because your body's quite loud. Pains, aches, itches, your body's always talking to you. And so when you try to meditate, if you sit down with a loud body, you can't. But if
Mm.
you do yoga and you get completely, it's almost like completely exhausted, but it's like this state of bliss of it. You know, you just did everything with every inch of your body, and then you lay there and you're supposed to meditate. The whole point of yoga was to get silent enough to get into yourself. And so like I can't do vanilla yoga because it takes away the point. And the point was something that leads one to their own discovery, self-discovery and divine discovery. And so like when you take the spirituality out of it, it's it's without necessity. It's just cosmetic. It becomes a performance. Oh, how flexible are you? How strong are you in this? Can you do it fast? Can you be in here when it's really hot? Like I couldn't do those kinds of yoga places. The yoga I found at kinship yoga, hot yoga, um, I have to be with a particular teacher. I need to have the certain approach to the body and to the mind and to the heart. And if it's not there, I have actually, and it's so funny, the first time I did it, I shocked myself. I have walked out of people's classes because I'm just like, yeah,
Mm.
no, I feel oppressed by by the way they're giving the words. It made
Oppressed
me
in
less
yoga.
willing. Yeah, it made me less willing to move my body. It made me less willing. I was like, I was in straight up uh I was just in opposition with the energy they were bringing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it made me very aware that I need a certain energy in yoga. And so hot yoga, hot yoga tends to just help you go deeper in your stretches, and you sweat is a great way to detox so you can let go of a lot of toxins in your body. You have to drink a lot of water, of course. But I think the mindfulness as well as the body awareness, like it makes you much more aware of your posture, um your core. Like people always sucking in their stomach, but if you don't know what your core is, you could just be like it's for performance. It's just to try to make your stomach look flat as opposed to actually making your body help your back hold your torso up. Like that's what it's for. When you strengthen your core, it's not for a flat stomach. And so I think that yoga helped me to just like, I feel like I spend a lot of time in my mind, like in my
Mm-hmm.
creativity and like in my imagination. And so I think yoga helped me get in my body. Like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, I'm here. Like I'm here, not just like I want to participate out there, and being more sedentary. Like I actually love moving my body. I used to be a cheerleader, I used to run track. And so it's just about keeping the things that keep you vital and keep you healthy, like making sure you do that shit for yourself.
Absolutely. And I like that you spoke on the dissonance between the spiritual aspect and the trendy aspect
Oh
of
wait,
it.
I can't hear you. Hold on, something's going on.
Uh-oh. Shout out to everybody in chat. Appreciate y'all coming through while we get this situated. Boomaye says he loves hot yogurt. That sounds disgusting.
Wait a minute.
Coco said that's
This
why you
is
stopped doing
great.
yoga. Awkward Cat said the last time you did yoga was in third grade. What? What school did you go to, Awkward, where
How we Oh,
you were
there
doing
you are.
yoga? Yes, hi, I'm here.
Okay, I couldn't hear you for a second there.
It's all good. It happens. Technical difficulties happen. We all know that. But I was basically saying that I appreciated you touching on the dissonance between like the trendiness and the spiritual aspect of yoga that a lot of people lost. So
Yeah.
like it's definitely big here in New York where it's like hi, I'm just getting fit, like you said. Like I'm just trying to be like cute and cool. And like I never
Yeah,
thought of yoga, and because of that, I never thought of yoga as something spiritual, something meditative, something that had nothing to do necessarily with the vain or vanity of oneself. So I'm glad that
right.
I learned something. I'm glad you said that.
Yes, see, exactly. I'm telling you, more people would do it. And they had African yoga, they had Kemetic yoga. Like it's not just a far east practice. It's I mean, if you think about human beings, they just had more time to explore themselves and their body. And when you're working hard in the fields or whatever you're doing to like get your food back in the day, like on old paradigms of living, I'm sure they were achy breaky, so they took the time to figure out how to settle that feeling, and it's crazy because a lot of the disorders that we have now have a lot to do with our spirit being uneased, in a constant state of unease, like the body, the spirit, the mind, the heart, nothing is being comforted. And like we comfort ourselves with like consumerism, right? Instead
hmm
of like introverting and like figuring out what we really need.
Yeah, I'm just like as soon as you said people from back in the day, I'm just picturing like my grandma trying to do yoga. That would have been something.
Hey, you never know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that would have been
It's a
cool.
beautiful thing. I actually went to a senior citizen home and sang for them, and then I went. They invited me back for their yoga class, and I went and did it with them, and it was so cute. Like you could still do yoga as a extremely limited person, because yoga, what it's for is it's like anybody. And when I say anybody, I mean anybody. Not
hmm
anyone out there, but everybody should be able to do some form of yoga, even if it needs to be assisted. If they are disabled, yoga is still beneficial. And so it's just beautiful to see. That's what I mean about witnessing God, because we all trying our best. And so, like, to see, like, the person that could do the thing with ease, or the person that is struggling and you sitting there sweating too, it makes you feel like a warrior. It makes you feel like, yeah, I'm taking care of myself and I'm not punking out. I'm not gonna let this pose go.
Yeah, I need to get. I think I told you about that story where I did the silk. Did I tell you that?
Yes, well, we
Yeah,
didn't
I
really
need to
like
get
get.
back into. I need to get myself. I got to get my body and mind right. So I'm
See,
following your
that's
lead.
some bravery.
I'm gonna join hot yoga over here, and then I'm gonna show you how it's done. How New York does
Okay,
it. Yeah.
okay, I believe in you, because first of all, those silks is not for not for the weak at heart.
Yeah.
How far up off the ground were you? I couldn't do it. Mm-mm.
I wasn't that far off the ground. That's the embarrassing thing, though, because it was like I was just now getting up on it. I was climbing, and then next thing you know, I don't know why mine. I'm the only black. Because all right, so let me go through the whole story again for everybody for context. So years ago, I had this friend. She was white, and she was starting this class, and she needed some people in to kind of like fill the room. So I was like, yeah, I'll come through. So I come through. I'm the only black person there, and we're getting into it. We did like the warm up and everything, and I'm trying to like get myself up on the silk, and I'm climbing, and then why my black ass gotta be the one to fall? Why mine fell off the roof? It just came off the
Off the
ceiling.
roof.
The
Oh,
ceiling, it came off the ceiling. And I'm just sitting there
see,
like,
I feel
God,
like they should have made sure it might have been like a little weight thing, because were you the only male?
yeah. No, no, I
See,
was the second male there. Yeah.
so it might have been a thing where they should have made sure that they had straps up there. That's why you need insurance. You climbing, what if you had fell wrong?
I would have got some money
I
that
just
day. That's what
applaud you.
happened.
I applaud you for supporting your friend as well as for trying that. Because I look at that and I'm like, woo, I need to do some planks. I need to do
You could
something
do it.
because
You could do it. I believe you. I believe in you. You can do that.
yes, as long as my ribbon don't fall, I got a chance.
Yeah. So I want to try something. I started this on the last episode where I perused the IG of the person that was on the show. So I went through all 5,000 of your IG posts and I found some photos. Yeah, you got 5,000. You know you be posting. So I went through all 5,000 of the posts and I found some photos that I thought were interesting that I would love to, hear the story behind, and maybe you can remember and, give us some background. So what I'm gonna do
Okay.
is I'm in the Discord chat, the collab chat that we have. I'm gonna drop the photos in there, and then you can just riff off whatever thoughts you
Okay.
have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking for the photo. Okay.
I'm gonna drop the first one now, and I'm about to put it on screen on chat.
Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. So yeah, this picture, the Afro Geisha. That was I used to work at Amoeba, and it was these two guys.
What's Amoeba?
Amoeba is the record store in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Very eclectic place. I worked at the original Amoeba in Hollywood, so now it's moved and it's on Hollywood Boulevard. But I used to work at the one on Sunset, and I met these guys named it was Andy and what was his friend's name? Dang, Andy. Andy is definitely one of their names, and it was two of them, and it was some years ago. You see when the post was made, but the picture
Yeah.
was I think a little. So so Andy and they were both like drag queens,
Okay.
and yeah, and they were super cool. I was always their cashier, and they were like, "We love you. You are so pretty and so cool. Like we want to make you over. Would you let us make you over?" And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. They were like, no, we do fantasy art. We do, and we would love to do a shoot with you. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I got to do? They like, you just meet us downtown, and Andy's gonna do your face, and then um um no, Andy did my hair, and the other guy did my face. And so, like, I forget his name. I feel so bad. They were both my friends. I see his
Mm-mm-mm.
beautiful smile. If he happens to be watching this, and you're the other guy, not Andy. Right now, I can't remember your name, but I remember your smile. Dusty Cunningham.
Dusty.
So, so Dusty
How
is
you
the
gonna forget that
photographer, and
name?
Andy is the hair and makeup. And they were both really nice guys. They had been friends for years. And I think that I might have been the one, maybe the first, because I don't know if they've worked with women since, but I was the first woman they did. And so we did this Afro Geisha pose, and I was astounded by how it came out, because I couldn't imagine. They were like, yeah, we're going to put we want you to have a huge afro. And I'm like, okay. And so when I got there and they put the like bouffant thing on me first, I was like, what is about to go down?
I love that.
Yeah, but I think those came out really good.
So I'm going to show you one more, and then we're going to hit our first break, and then when we come back, we'll just continue the conversation, and have some fun. So this one's definitely a deep cut. So I don't know. It looks like it might have been very younger years. I'm about to drop it right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm putting it on chat.
Okay. So that is funny. Yes, this is very younger. That is a photograph. So back in the day, everybody used to take pictures at the photo booth, not the photo booth, but like it wasn't 1 hour photo, but it was like these magic picture images. They would have them in every mall. It was just malls that had, I mean, it was photo studios in the mall, and they had like these photo packages. And me and my nieces and me and my friends in high school, we would just take all these pictures in the mall. It was like before selfies. Everybody that's younger and just don't get it. Like, why would you just be always taking pictures in the mall? It's like, well, we couldn't just take pictures on our phone like now. So like we used to like have our matching outfits. And so that day, I actually took pictures with my cousin Loretta or my niece LaShawn that day too. Yeah. And so that was my solo pose. That was my solo pose from
Okay.
that day. I think I was about 18, 17 there. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's way back. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I do. You know what? I do miss malls, even though it was like this really crazy, aesthetic of capitalism and all this stuff. Like malls were fun to hang out in as a kid, and
Oh, you
even as
said
an
it like
adult.
they don't exist.
Well, I
We
mean, they're
still
not.
have malls.
They're not as
Yeah.
prominent as they used to be. Like the closest mall for us over here is in New Jersey, which is a whole state over.
Oh yeah, no, we still have malls out here. We just don't have those photo studios no more.
Got you. Got you.
Mhm.
Okay, well, everyone, we're going to go on our first break. So that's going to be 10 minutes on the clock. When we come back, more Jimetta Rose, more Habo, more the art block. So, go walk around, go to the bathroom, get your snacks, and we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready for the return of me and Jimetta in the chat, let me see some emote love. Spam them emotes. Wake up. It's Tuesday. Why are you sleeping? You need to be watching us. Tell your friends, matter of fact. Tell your friends. We about to be back in like 2 seconds. So tell your friends, retweet this stream, because we in here. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I love to see. That's what I love to see. Shout outs to Vicinity Designs on YouTube coming through, Walnut on YouTube, Awkward Cat, Dr. Kalen on YouTube, Coco Queenie, Boomaye is back, and everybody else that's in the chat, lurking, hanging out, doing those great things. Yes, wake up out of your sleep, just like TD Jake said. Let's go. There we go. We are back with Miss Jimetta Rose.
Hey, hey.
So, how many plants do you own?
Uh, Probably because I just got a new one, so probably like 28.
28.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you're just like, yeah, this is normal. Yeah, 28 plants in a house. Yep, this is cool.
Yeah, if I had more sunlight, man, if I had more happy places for more of them, I would have more. But I really believe in them having like, a nice optimal space with like the light they need and stuff. So I feel like I probably can't buy no more. But this last one I got as a celebration for coming back from London. And it's
Oh
a rare
yes.
philodendron.
Ooh, a
Yeah, I
philodendron.
love it. Yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
never heard of that. See, you really into plants because I ain't never heard of that. A philodendron.
Yeah, I got this t-shirt and I got most of the plants on the t-shirt.
When did you
You
get
know
in?
how they had those t-shirts with all the plants on them. I was like, yeah, these are nice. I'm gonna see if I can find some of these.
Yeah, y'all in the chat, y'all can actually see this because every morning, I kid you not, it's like a routine for this lady. Every morning she gets on and she does like a little video where she sages the house and you'll see like all the plants. I just never knew it was that many. 28.
Yes, 28 plants,
You
and
gonna
they
add
they
more?
all they all are doing pretty good too. They all doing pretty good.
From the looks
I
of it,
went
yeah.
to London recently and some of them didn't react well to the trip because I forgot it was summer.
Mm. They missed your presence though. That's what it was. When
They
you
were like,
left,
she left us.
yeah, you took the essence
How
with you.
is she coming back? And it's hot. It's really, really hot. So
Yeah.
luckily they didn't die.
And then you came back with that British accent.
See, you trying to lure me into it, and my
What?
British accent isn't even good. And
I'm
the
not.
queen done died. I don't want to butcher the language.
What are you talking about? I'm not trying to lure you into anything, mate. Like what?
What are you
What?
talking about?
What are you? No, no, never.
Never. Never. Yeah, see, I feel like, my British accent, the one that I could try to have is I don't really think it's up to par to like display to the people, the lovely
Uh
people
uh
of
uh
Twitch
uh.
and YouTube
Nah, you know what you were saying a few minutes ago about
about the
singing?
freedom. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do
Hmm.
the voice too. So don't come in here talking about you can't. Don't do that.
You're right. Can't
Mm-hmm.
is a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
Choose not to. No, I like I like that's different. I mean, it's not like I can't. I'm not saying I'm not limiting myself, but
Right.
you know, might want to practice that, go out there a few more times
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like accents are like music. So like if I'm around an accent, I pick up on it really easily. I start to like pause on the vowels at the same time, like
Yeah.
different stuff slowly from being around people. So like if I'm somewhere for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I I can meet the old people from that region and I'll be like, because I'll be trying to show the respect and like, so I'll just fall into that cadence. And that's how you realize that it's really music everywhere. Cause that's how I hear like different dialects and it sounds like music. It sounds like, oh, you just sit on this longer or, whatever it may be. And so, yeah, I feel like with the British, my accent is comical as at best.
Hey, we like comedy, but this is how we know you're not even from like you on a whole different level. You talking about there's music everywhere, there's music in the voice. Like I just never would have comprehended it like that. You a cosmic being. You somewhere else. Like we not even worthy to be speaking to you right now.
Wouldn't say that. I feel like if I have to say I'm a cosmic being, then we have to say you are one. And I feel like it is just a
I'm
matter
not
of how
I'm not
people
allowed
look
to
at
be
stuff.
cosmic anymore. I'm banned from doing that. So we're
Oh,
not going.
you wait. What happened the last time when you were cosmic?
Hey, I can't talk about that. I'm under an NDA. I can't be speaking on that right now.
I believe it. Okay, so okay, the room ain't purple for no reason. All right, I understand.
So you're saying that if you came over to Brooklyn for like 2 or 3 weeks, you would actually be able to mimic the accent to the point where you could talk with the old heads and sound like them. That's what you're saying?
will talk with the old heads and them well, see, like Brooklyn, I mean, because that's more a dialect thing. So yeah, I would be able to talk to them, and I probably wouldn't speak in their dialect, but it's like I would have figured out what makes that dialect different from another or whatever. Like when I was there, people thought I was from the South, but when I went to the South, I heard the South's accent, and it is very similar to mine because I had both my parents were from the South, but it's a slightly longer twang than I have. Um, and so like that's what I mean. So New York has no twang, and it's a slight clip on the words. But like for instance, like the subtle difference between New York and Jersey, or and when I used to date a guy from New York, I totally like started saying certain things kind of like I was from New York because it's like you talking to this person all the
You
time, you
pick up
know.
on it.
Yeah, you do pick up on it. But when I was saying that about like accents and stuff, I meant like, my friend that is Nigerian, like being around the Nigerian dialect, or someone's Brazilian or Cuban or like Senegalese. And it's like you hear this different rhythm to how they talk. And it's like, oh, yeah, I get it. And so you end up, I'll be speaking English, but I'll be using that rhythm.
Yeah, it's
Um,
funny that you say that because I feel like since I started streaming and being on camera more, like my friends that I've made, they definitely started to like kind of speak like me a little bit. Like I would hear it and pick up. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how it like slips up. And sometimes I'll slip up and say hella because I know y'all say that a lot over in California. I don't know why.
you know,
It's
you
hella hot.
always are
It's
trying
hella
to
hot
start
out
some
here.
East Coast, West Coast beefs. I I don't know. I will give credit where credit is due because now the whole West Coast say it, but hella was definitely a Bay Area thing. I
Mm.
remember being in church as a little girl, like maybe 12 or something, and my friend came from Oakland. They church visited our church. And she was saying hella hella all the time. And I remember being like, girl, and she was saying hecka and
Oh
hella. And
God.
I would be like, what? And that's when I was young. So I will say that it might be like considered a West Coast thing now, but I think that started in the Bay Area.
See, I'm learning. See, we just learn. Everybody's learning, y'all. See, y'all should give it up to this amazing, beautiful woman. She teaching y'all something because I would have never known. Because the first time I heard hella was literally when I was watching Insecure, Issa Rae.
Oh yeah.
That's where I learned
Yes,
most of
see,
my
because
LA
now
dialect.
it's the LA thing too, but yeah, no. Hella definitely wasn't like LA when I was little. Like when I was little, the first time I heard that girl came all the way from Oakland. Well, at least they gave us something that was good linguistically. I mean, I think that the cocaine went up from went up from LA to Oakland historically. I mean, it's been a lot of exchanges of culture.
Two comments in the chat that were actually interesting. So the thing we were just speaking about, where we kind of assimilate to the dialect, it's called the chameleon effect. That's what Coco said. So I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Shout out Coco. I can't see the chat. Wait, I need to go over to the chat.
you
No,
can
I
do.
better stay
Yeah,
focused.
because you.
I better. Yeah, yeah. Me and
Yeah,
my
stay where you at.
technological limitations. I need to just make sure my camera's still working. I was like, let me go over there and see what they say. Like, no, no.
It's all good. And then Boomaye said that E40 brought hella down south to Long Beach because he lives in Long Beach. E40,
Yeah, see.
Jesus Christ had dread, so shake him. I ain't got none, but I plan on growing some. Yeah, I remember
And
E40.
then shout out to Boomaye. I didn't know that E40 lived in Long Beach. It's never any parking in Long Beach.
I wouldn't know. I've never been. So going back to the music for a little bit, in 2010, what was that feeling like leading up to your debut album? The hold on, let me almost messed up. Almost messed up. The Barber's Daughter. The Barber's Daughter. Everything all right? Oh, I think she lost us for a second. She'll be back. I think the sound clipped out, but you know how it is, y'all. Streaming on these platforms and all these little softwares and everything connected. Things happen from time to time. Y'all seen it here on stream. Y'all seen it here when I'm playing games or doing art, so it's all good. But I do appreciate y'all coming through. And actually, let me reset the room real quick. So this is the Art Block. I am Havo, your host with Jimetta Rose tonight. The Art Block is a podcast, but not so much podcast, where Black artists can come and have chill conversations while making art. Unfortunately, tonight, due to some technical issues, we won't be making art, but that's still fine because we're having all these wonderful anecdotes from Jimetta Rose. Like, we're just learning so much. We learned about where Hella comes from. We learned about
I
hot
really,
yoga.
I really wanted to draw though. I was ready. I thought I was gonna be able to show my skills, but
Well, you know what?
man,
You know what? We'll get you
next
on here
time,
next another time, and we'll get it figured out. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna get like a desktop situation at my house
Yeah.
because my Wi-Fi maybe that'll be better. But yeah, man,
Yeah. So what I was saying before, in 2010, that feeling when you were leading up to your debut album, The Barber's Daughter, what was that feeling like? How was the energy back then for you?
it was a real kind of like I was really trying to make a special record because my father passed and I all of a sudden had the ability to make this record and I wanted to dedicate it to him. And so I really just tried to take songs that I had been performing live with my band and make them like album ready, you know. And that was a learning process. I feel like I'm grateful for the ease and the support that I have now in my career. But at that time, it was just like really wishing upon a star and hoping that, you know, you're investing with the right people and they can really do what they say they're going to do, or they really are going to do what they say they're going to do. And it was a lot of gambling with that. But I was proud of the work. I think that um, it was a honest endeavor, you know, but it ended up the producer that I worked with, it was like he was telling me that I needed to replace tracks and like I'm like, what? We got the band, I got my band. And he's like, well, it needs to be like this for the album. It needs to sound like this. And so, I feel like it definitely was a part of my learning path and my journey to learn how to like gently yet firmly demand um, make it be known how I want the music to sound. And so I feel like it took a long time for me to really like get good at that. And I feel like I'm there now where I can eloquently hear what a suggestion is or whatever, but also, have my feedback or have the reason why that suggestion won't work or whatever. And so I was really young, trying to do that. So I'm proud of her. Would I have done it differently with more knowledge and expertise? Yes. It was a rough process, but I'm happy that people heard the music.
Did you in 2020 celebrate the 10-year anniversary? Did you do anything special to commemorate that?
I didn't. I was in the midst of some tumultuous times during the pandemic, so
Right.
that kind of came and went actually. But um my life my life kind of was in a way repeating a cycle of challenge at that time.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. I lost my mother in the beginning of 2020, and so it was just definitely like revisiting an energy in a more empowered space, but grief still feels bad. Losing a parent still feels bad, but to be a bit older and to just kind of understand that now I'm the matriarch of my life and of my family technically. So it's really it's a different weight to bear now. I think when I was doing the barber's daughter, it was just like so much unknown ahead of me, and I was just bravely trying to just dive into it. This time it's like that screensaver behind you. It's like being out in the deep water, and
Mm.
you already that it's gonna take swimming, but you know how to back float. So you know how to conserve your energy when you need to, and you know how to deal with the grief a little bit better, you know? And so I'm appreciative for being able to see those cycles in my life. But no, I didn't do a commemoration. You know, maybe going forward I'll be able to focus, look back to remember that kind of stuff. But I think that I've just always been looking forward and like making whatever's next. That I mean, I didn't even think about it being 10 years. I thought more about the 10-year anniversary of my dad passing, which was 2 years before that. You know, like,
Right.
you know, it's like I don't know. It's like it's weird what are the milestones, because for me every creation until this Voices of Creation has been a very laborious effort, and by the time people hear it, it has been a lot of effort and attention and focus and energy given to the thing. And then it's like, is it going to come out? I don't know. I don't know if people will hear it. Well, I'm going to start making something else. And so it's kind of hard to keep that chronological commemoration going, you know, because you're just always focused on what's next. And so this is the first time that I'm able to be like, yeah, you know, wow, we put this record out, we recorded it, you know, we recorded it and put it out. It was no wait time. So I'm still excited about the creation of it, as well as like astounded at the reception that people are giving to it. But just like the fact that the mechanics of it all worked so smoothly for the first time, that I'm still looking forward to the future, but I'm more like, wow, so the mechanic, like, are the mechanics gonna work like this from now on? Because like if so, man, I gotta like stay sharp on what I want to say. I gotta stay very intentional in what I'm communicating, because if it's gonna come out immediately with no lapse, no wait time, um, it's like it's exhilarating in another way, because it's like sometimes that wait time makes your focus go all over the place. But in this, I'm very focused on the choir, but you know, I'm still looking ahead at the mechanics working smoothly like this going forward for the choir, of course. But also like, is this gonna apply to my solo music from now on? And I'm like, wow, okay, like maybe. So like that's really exciting to like finally break through what could be like a barrier of expression.
I love that. Excuse me. Now, can you speak to? Because for me, at least from my point of view, I feel like you're living the artist's dream. You know, you're traveling the world, you're performing at these wonderful venues, you're being featured on songs, you're collaborating with prolific people, and you have the Voices of Creation, you have albums, you know, on deck. Can you speak to the struggles or the obstacles that get in the way and how to overcome them, and if you still kind of deal with a lot of those things now?
Yeah, I mean, I the struggles are many. I think that when I was young, I was very suspicious of the music industry. I felt like it was a lot of snaky people that might try to take advantage of me because I was naive, or because I had a pure heart, or because I wanted to make music that helped people. And I did run into those people, but I think um, I always have been covered in God's grace, and the fact that, you know, offers might have been made, oh, you know, darken your image or sexualize your image. And I was able to believe in what I was doing and believe in what I was here to do more than that opportunity. And so it's all kinds of struggles. I think the main struggle is knowing why you do it, and having faith that your why is worth it. Like your why is worth it. Whatever your why is. And once you get that together inside, I think any challenge that comes your way, you'll have the words or the proper response, you know, for it. Because I mean, it's so many uh unknown about the journey that one could take in music, right? But what you know is that if you do have a why, if you do have a purpose behind what you're doing, whether that be to inspire little boys and girls like you, to reach out despite the, whatever your vision for your art is, like that has to be bigger than the sellout. And just stay focused on it. And like some people's vision for themselves is just the celebrity and the fame and the notoriety and that platform. Clap for them when they get that. That's their vision. But if that's not your vision, don't let that make you less faithful in yours. And I think that that would be like what I would say about it, because it's just don't copy. Like I really do think introspection is the greatest way to pull something out and offer it to the world. And so I feel like staying true to yourself, but when you say staying true to yourself, what is that? Like what are your principles? What won't you stand for? And really knowing that will help you to guide your boat through the waters, right? Like if you try to avoid all the conflicts and all the challenges that will come, you might not ever put your boat in the water. But once you get in the water and you know how you're steering your boat, you can steer your boat away from, the edge of a cliff, or away from choppy waters, or you see a storm coming, and you could steer your boat. You can be sure of steering your boat. And so like just watching the ebb and flow of it all, like having gratitude for the times when you thought you couldn't make it, because when you did make it, you proved yourself wrong, you proved that doubt wrong, you set that doubt down in a back corner somewhere. It's going to take a while for it to come back. You see what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
really, really, really getting yourself through the highs and the lows. Neither should be more celebrated than the other. Like they both are quite valuable. And I'm really grateful for my journey now. It was a point where I was like, man, you're getting older here. Like, what the fuck? Are you crazy? Like, why are you still trying to do this music thing? Like your friends are starting families, they having babies, getting married, and like you just always in the studio. You just always at somebody's session. You just always, oh, I got this other idea. Oh, you gonna sing with the kids now. You're gonna do that. Like, girl, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then a revelation will happen, like because out of that despair I started the choir. But witnessing the choir helped me realize, no, I'm not my living is not in vain. Like it's not in vain. Like keep going and keep watering. It's like I was talking to my old bass player Toli Ramirez, and like we were talking about some music, and we might be able to like get some of it heard soon. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I guess it's just kind of like being a farmer, and like you just water the dirt whether anything's growing or not. Because if you stop watering the dirt, the seed definitely is won't grow, right? But water it whether you see a sprout or not. That faith in the sprout, it'll come. It like you keep watering the ground, and I feel like that is what I learned from my journey, is not to let the ebbs and the flow, not to let those times where it seems like nothing is going your way, or not to let those times where it's like, what do I do? Not to let that break you, because that is there to really just make you stronger and to really witness like what you came over, like to witness the power that it takes to manifest that vision you want. Like you want the vision, but it takes the inner power. And so you go through those challenges and then you look back and you're like, well, fuck, well, I did it. I did it. And how do I think of myself now? You know?
Mm. Dang, yo, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I feel like I'm tearing up over here. Like you just, I don't know. I felt like I was definitely resonating with everything you were saying about, going at your own pace and reflecting on like your friends and seeing what they're doing versus what you're doing. And like, yeah, I'm waiting for your book to come out. I'm waiting for your podcast to come out, your prayer line, whatever you got. I feel like I'm at a sermon right now. And I know the chat probably over there just crying and weeping too, because yeah,
Oh my gosh.
let's take a moment
You
to
asked me
digest
to
that.
talk about that. I'm like, man, those struggles was deep. I was like, so how can I like put this in a way where I don't have to like, like really go into the struggles of it? Because at this point, like I am grateful for those struggles, but yeah, like it's like wow, you start stepping into the vision and it's like, yeah, nothing could have been any different.
Absolutely. We're going to take a second to let that all digest, and I'm going to actually queue up the video that we spoke about earlier. See if I can get this going without any hiccups, because technology be technology in, as they say, as the kids say.
Don't even get me started.
Okay. Let's see here. And while we're waiting, do you know any other languages? Do you speak?
I knew Spanish. But like I don't practice it enough, so like I can understand it more than speak it now. Like I always spoke my Spanish without transferring the sentence. So I still spoke Spanish with English format, but I understood all the words. And then after high school, I didn't practice. So now I just still retained some of the words. I always like wanted to I have a song in Spanish, but like I wrote that hook in English and then I had totally translated to Spanish and then I was able to sing it. But I would like to like sing and learn. Portuguese and Spanish are primary languages that I'm interested in because I like the music of Brazil and the Afro Latin connection. I feel like I want to explore that some. Just the unity around the African diaspora. Being able to communicate because it's a lot of countries in Africa that are French speaking or Spanish speaking countries, and it's like, man, you know you got to learn these languages to navigate. But then I also would like to uh, learn, if I could go and travel to different countries in Africa and South America and learn their indigenous faith songs and like transpose them into like mashups with songs that I create and stuff, that would be cool. And like learning the meaning of words and like the relativity of words. I'm a linguist, so I would love to like learn more languages and how they relate, how to build those bridges more fluidly, with sound and some of the words of the people there.
You better get started. When you going to get started? Hurry up. Come on.
I'm starting now. I'm already working on this.
Yeah, I actually downloaded.
I'm already working on it.
I downloaded
totally
Duolingo
am.
the other day, so I'm trying to get my Spanish on too. So I'm about to queue up this video. I'm gonna just make sure everything's good. This is the video for Ebb and Flow. You won't be able to see it, obviously, because you're on your phone, but they will. So apologies, but I'm sure everyone else will enjoy it.
I feel left out. I just want everyone to know I feel left out.
All right, we're about to play it right now.
Shout out to my brother Adad Berry, Demetrius Berry, for directing and filming the video.
And my river has come to a bumping
I see it over there in the corner.
The fear of the known, she still can flow, she still can sing. She doesn't know what the future will bring, so she babbles along like a brick against stone. She ebbs, she flows, a little alone. I just float in my boat on my little stream. The rain may pour, the birds may sing, the sun will shine again and again. Some people I love, some more than just friends. A smile, a kiss, a laugh, a hug, a love that's new. Someone to trust, I can finally see what's so special about me.
think I'm a little hungry.
Whenever I'm glad my river may come, bumping the road, blocking the creek, the fear of the unknown. Flow, I still can sing, still won't know what the future will bring. So I babble along like a rose in a pond. I ebb, I flow, I keep finding the joy. I ebb, I flow, I ebb, I flow.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely. Just, I feel like that's a song that you can set to your alarm and you wake up to that and you just feeling like you're ready for the day. Like you feel spiritually fulfilled and you just want to spread your joy and love to everybody. Like, that's such a great record. I absolutely love it.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. Chat is
Thank
going
you
crazy
so
right
much.
now.
That
Yeah.
was a testimony right there.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So go into like the concept of the video. Why in the desert? Why, you know, the specific figures you had, like the women with the items in their hands and people dancing on the I think the overpass. Like what was the concept of what you're going for?
Well, the key statement is I keep finding the joy. And so it was about joy and whimsy and unexpected places. And so in the desert of your life you can find the joy. Um and it might look like women dancing with flowers on the hill. It might look like a black man dancing freely on a bridge overpass, beautifully in the sun, free. It might look like a black family, um, united in love, man and woman with their baby, and like the hopes that brings, and just looking at the world with gratitude and with looking for joy, you know. And so at the time that I wrote that song, I was definitely in a desert of my own life. I really didn't know the song is real. Like my river has come to a bump in the road. You know, a rock in the creek. You know, nothing is still. It's like, you know, it's disrupted the peace, and it's a fear of the unknown. But what I did know was that, like, I've witnessed this. I've witnessed challenge before, maybe never like this and never like that. It was such a time of it's like a whole book of my life ended, you know, and I had to move into this next chapter and I didn't know what it was going to be, and I was really contemplating not singing, and singing had been, you know, everything to me. And so at the time I wrote this song, I had started the choir already about a year before that. So I was so happy I hadn't stopped singing, right? But it was just like, what about this solo stuff? Like, are you going to focus on that ever again? And it was like, I don't know. Are you going to find love? I don't know. Like, are you going to be able to take care of yourself now that it's just you? I don't know. Um, but so far I'm doing a good job, and I did find joy in a very unexpected place, and it was just that melody. I've always loved Aguas de Marco, the Portuguese song by Antonio Carlos Jobim.
Mhm.
And I had this rap track from my brother Jimetta. Shout out to Jimetta. He had this song that made me think of Aguas de Marco. Every time I heard it, I would hear Aguas de Marco, to where I could sing that song, and at the time I could even sing his rap lyrics mixed with it. So I got super hyped, like, yo, I want to just put a version of this on SoundCloud or something. Like, can I? And he was like, well, you like the track so much, I'll send you the track, but I don't know like how I feel about you putting out the song. And I'm like, well, I respect that. And he ended up saying, go ahead and use it. But I was like, nah, I don't feel good about it. Like I wanted him to feel good about it too. You know, I didn't want it to feel like he was just kind of obligated because, oh, you cool, Jimetta, I'm gonna. So I ended up calling Quelle Chris, and Quelle and Chris Keys made the beat. And because at first I just was singing Aguas de Marco, but one day my actual testimony started to flow, and like the whole first verse and really that whole song just flowed out before in the shower before I went to work. And I got super excited, like, oh man, I'm writing an English version of like Aguas de Marco, and it's like true, it's really how I feel. Is making me feel better. And like that's a lot of the times, like if I don't feel good, I will find something I can sing. And so I was just saying that, and before I was singing it, I was just listening to that track because I could hear that melody, and it was pulling me out of the sadness. And so, with Ebb and Flow, I finally ended up at the line of, I keep finding the joy no matter where I be. I keep finding the joy no matter where I be. It fills me up. It's easy to find. It glows in the dark at the back of my mind. Like when I don't think I have it, it's right there. It's right there. I could just float on this boat on my little stream, trust the stream. And it was almost like at some point in that journey, I didn't feel like I had a boat. I felt like I was just in the water and needed to figure out how I was going to stay afloat or whatever. And to like become the water, I had to become the water. I had to trust that this challenge, this was not going to swallow me. I was going to come out on the other side fine. And I think that was the secret. I mean, I think that was the download of that song, is like, find the joy no matter where you be. And so in the video, I tried to convey like finding these joyful things in very unexpected places. Even the man that is dancing with the cloud, like he can represent sadness following you, or he can represent like a world where it can be a cloud man that dances right behind you, and you think you're sad, but the cloud is right there trying to dance and make you happy, like to cheer you up. And so, for me, it's just like sneaking the whimsy into life, and like winking at other people's inner child. Like we can find the joy, and being able to say it from a place of experience. I always wanted to quote unquote inspire someone or teach someone about self love, or, when I was young. And it really took being tested in those things that I was saying, about myself and saying that I believe. And like, man, going through the test and coming out on the other side really makes you appreciate yourself more. But you realize, like, you don't just say things in vain. You say those things because it's in there. But will you push through? Will you water the dirt?
That is just, for lack of a better term, just so powerful. I feel like because of that, the record becomes timeless in a sense. This black joy, finding the joy, making the joy, wherever it
Yeah.
is. I think that's something that can resonate with anybody. I think that can resonate with any time period because we're all going through something. We're all experiencing things at the same time. So no matter where you at on your journey, like that's always the goal, right? To find the joy. And I think it's beautiful that you did use these wonderful examples of black people, men, women, a family, the cloud man, which
Yeah.
I love the cloud man. That was like my favorite part. But like I just I love that you exuded that throughout the video. And I I just, yeah, it's music is such a powerful thing to me. I think it's the most powerful art form. Like, I'm not trying to knock visual arts because I'm a visual artist, but like when it comes to music, it evokes something in you that you won't get anywhere else. And when it's combined with the visual aspect, like your video, it just becomes this this force. And I just want to thank you for creating that, because I know that video and that record are going to speak to people, and it probably spoke to people just now. So thank you for real.
Thank you, and I really just hope they find their own testimony in there. You know, like you can find the joy. I have a friend, Tice. He's an amazing stylist and fashion designer, and just visionary of his own right. But Tice, he loves ebb and flow, and he'll text me. He's like, "I'm listening to my song. You know, when this is my song. You know, you got to find the joy, honey. You got to find the joy no matter where you be." And I'm like, it's so funny because I'm like, yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's actually um what I try how I try to live. And so if you know, sharing it was almost like, oh, okay, this hard times and everything, I found this song. And it's like the song feels good. And I knew it felt really good. And I love the Joe Beam song so much. I was just excited to have been able to successfully like approach his melody in English. And I was just proud of myself because I've always known that melody, and I always knew the Portuguese version to some extent, but like you can't sing it like you mean it because you don't know Portuguese. And so then you listen to the English version, and it's definitely not as evocative as the as the. It doesn't make you feel anything. It's like a stick, a stone, the edge of the road. It's like, okay, uh, actually, I feel like I want to give up, but this song makes me not want to give up. So how am I gonna talk about that? And it just started coming out. My river has come to a bump in the road. I was like, yeah, I really don't know about this little future right here for a minute. And now I feel so much better than I did 2 years ago for sure. But also just able to recognize that that's a superpower, Jimetta. Like, you really found the joy, girl. Like, you could find the joy. Like, that's something you can do in any circumstance. Like, that means that nobody can take it.
Absolutely.
So that means that people only took it before because I believe they could.
When is your hold on? When you come on? When are you going to start your sermons? Come on. When is Sunday service? Come on.
I have been hearing that for a long time. I can't help it that when I speak, that's how it comes out. I trust me, I'm really actually a goofy person and everything, but
Oh, I
that's
know you
just
goofy.
how. Yeah, I'm like that's just how I process this thing. But you know, I definitely wrote a book, and I'm working on getting that published. But it's not this. It's a fictional book based on a family.
hmm
A nice story. I did include some written prayers in there for people that are going through hard times, such as such in the book, perhaps. And so, you know, I think it's a new book of my life now that, you know, I even have time to try to sit down and maybe start writing another manuscript, and like, what would that be, and what do I want to convey? And I had like a title in mind. And so I'm definitely going to continue to share whatever I can with people, because I think that if more of us did that, it would just be such a beautiful place to live in. And so I want to just definitely do my part, and because maybe that's gonna inspire people to open up and share more of what's going on with them. Like, I remember you posted something to your close friends on Instagram about just transparency with how you're feeling. Like, imagine if we could just live more transparently, you know,
hmm
really feel instead of thinking our way through so much stuff, you know. The
Say that
brain
again.
is a
Say that
great
again. One more time. Say that one more time.
to really feel instead of
Yeah.
thinking our way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important, because I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of us are just so in our head all the time. we forget about the heart. Not to sound like a corny after school special, but we forget about the heart. So we're always up here, and we get stuck, and it's like that tunnel vision, and then we just forget about everything around us, and then we look up, and it's like, oh shoot, what's going on? You know?
Life went by. Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Like uh, feeling is a scary thing. Most people are not really trying to feel their feelings. That's why it's like so much busyness or whatever. But it's a lot of magic and jewels and like things to learn about yourself, um, through processing those feelings and getting to the other side of them and understanding why you feel mad about something or why you feel sad about something, and you know, doing what you can to diminish those factors.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, One thing I will say that I enjoy about you as a person is that everything you say, everything you do comes off very genuine and doesn't come off corny. Because there are people out there that do talk like this or talk in this vein of like the inspirational. Like we've spoke about that before with the people doing like the African spirituality and stuff. And like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and like you can tell, you can feel the realness, you can feel the authenticity, and like that's what's really dope about you. I'm going to switch gears really quick because the other day we talked about very briefly about whether you're vegan and vegetarian. So I want to know, like, what you be out here eating? I just want to
I
know.
I eat meat. I don't eat. I try not to eat pork. Every now and then I'll have like bacon because bacon's good with French toast sometimes. And um, I eat ribs sometimes on the 4th of July. But yeah, I just try to eat clean.
Hmm.
I have recently started exploring these different recipes that help you consume more vegetables.
Hmm.
Just because like I feel like vegetables, it's not about being vegetarian, but I think they have more of the nutrients we need. Because like I tripped out, like it's so funny because anybody that like has ever been on a farm or raised on a farm is gonna think that I sound very naive and backwards for this next statement. But like, I found out that they feed the cows corn and oat, right? Like they feed them like grain, right? But I
Now,
found
Jimetta,
that,
you didn't know that?
first of all, I knew they was fed
I wasn't
something.
even on no farm, and I knew that now.
I feel like if I knew that at some point, I didn't put it together how I put it together the other
Hmm.
day when I figured it out. Because I was like, well, they always say corn ain't got no fucking nutritional value. So they giving these cows all this shit with no nutritional value, and then we eat the meat. Like I was like, well, shit. Well, I think I need to get I need to get some more nutrients from these vegetables then. And so, definitely becoming more mindful of what I put into my body. Because like you said, like now, Jametta, I know you knew that they fed the cows this, but that I probably did, but I don't think I put it together like, but corn don't corn don't have no nutritional value. And they giving the cows
And they
corn
be
and
tearing
oats.
that up. They be tearing that
Like the
corn up.
cow's supposed to be eating grass, and so are we. Like we supposed to be eating vegetables. I'm like,
Hmm.
God did put stuff here for us to like eat. That could help us and make us healthy, and so I'm just trying to be more open to that as I respect my body temple more. So who knows? We talking 5 years, I might be vegetarian or vegan or something. Ain't no telling, but I'm definitely gonna be trying to take care of my body temple more and more going forward because I finally understand it as like a car almost. So, my
Hmm.
spirit can be trapped in here. This body don't have to work. It's like you got to be grateful for it. You got to take care of it. You got to try to give it what it needs because you know you could just be in your body and can't do nothing. And it's like be grateful for the temple, take care of it, be gentle with it, be gracious with it. Do yoga, make sure you go on your walks, Jametta, like make sure you work out. And so for me, I think I'm just trying to I finally realize it's like, oh, it's almost like realizing that finding joy is a superpower, right? But then you realize, well, it's kind of rare that you look at it that way. Okay, so you got to start taking care of yourself. You gonna have to, because it might, not only is it not nobody like you like out here, but you all you got. And this body, if it stopped working, like on my back, I was having some really bad back problems earlier this year from being rear-ended in my car. And like it ended up not only being that, it ended up being like the stress of sitting at a desk too. Like um because you're not supposed to sit for longer than 30 minutes really. After 30 minutes you're supposed to like stretch your back in all the directions so that the circulation can keep on like being strong of a current through your lower extremities. And so like feeling like my back was gonna go out, like it was like such a weird feeling, and like not knowing if like this pain was just gonna be from here on out, you know, and being like, dang, it made me very grateful. As soon as I didn't feel it, I was like out on the hill, jogging, walking. I was like, I was like, it wasn't even like I was like, oh, my back. You know, I was more like, oh shit. Okay, now I can do it again. Let me go take care of this because so yeah, just really trying to figure out how I can increase my lifespan and increase the space for abundance in my life. I want to be familiar with abundance. I want to be familiar with grace. I want to be familiar with community. Like these things that are very important in my life. It's like, well, build them and also participate in them. And so that's why I'm so happy to be here because this is a whole different community. I mean, you talking about put up my emotes and like all the, I'm like, dang, this is a whole different lingo. Like y'all
Yeah.
got a whole different space over here. I'm just happy to be here. You feel me?
Mhm.
And that's what I mean, like going into spaces, learning about what that is. Like, you know, I'll never forget like first hearing about Bitcoin and everything. Random fact, I sang the theme song for Bitcoin.
What?
Bitcoin, the banks are not for us. You got to shout out
What?
that was my boy Toby. He had a song about the blockchain. And he was trying to tell me what it was, and it was so much different like talk, you know. And I to this day I still like look at the mistake and I can forgive myself because I had no idea what the fuck Bitcoin was or nothing. But he offered to pay me in a Bitcoin or I think 500 or 700 some dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, had never heard of this thing. Just sang this like rock chorus. You know, I'm like, yeah, bro, let me get that money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Years later, I meet up with him and he is paying for the whole entire session of this thing with one Bitcoin. I was like,
Wow.
he had an engineer, he had all of us background singers. So like at that point I realized, you know, I really understood because crypto had gotten more popular by then. But it's just like be open to new experiences, you know, and enter these like quote unquote foreign spaces. Like at least represent
Uh-oh. I think we might have lost you for a second there.
it didn't mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was trying to
We
call me.
hear.
But yeah, enter those new spaces like with an open mind and an open heart and like that transparency of like I don't know nothing, like what, you know, what can I learn here? And it you will learn so much and like learn different ways of connecting to people. And I think that that's what I really desire to explore in this lifetime is like connecting with people because you know, I have difficulty sometimes with like the mundane day-to-day like conversations that people are interested in having because I literally think like this quite you know all the time. And so I don't watch a whole lot of like shows and stuff. And so I get really intrigued when like people show me shows. I'll be like, oh, okay. Like my homegirl Nita, man, she showed me she showed me so many shows. Shout out to Nita Boo. We watch P Valley, you know, like different shows where I could like stay. And before that, she showed me what was that one with that was based around LA. Dang. Why I can't think of it right now. That's my
That
show
sounds like
too.
every show.
With Franklin. You know the show I'm
Oh,
talking about with Franklin.
wait, Snowfall.
Snowfall. I was
Yeah.
watching Snowfall. You know, I had, you know, I got my like ways of staying quote unquote relevant or like connected
Yeah.
here too, because I'm very connected to spiritual, and I think of like connecting with people as being connected here. It's like interesting to see like what people are thinking about and talking about, and then it's like, oh yeah, and sometimes I can participate and sometimes I can't, but it's still interesting. It's still like, oh okay, well that's a different way of doing this whole life thing, this living thing. And it's always this option of, what do you choose? Do you want to do that too, or do you know? But then it's like, also you could just observe that that's a possibility, you know.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of
Yeah.
connecting, I was actually looking at the chat, and Mr. Jones said he's waiting on a recipe. Whatever that recipe is, he waiting on it.
Oh, tell him I'ma send it to him. It was the tilapia remoulade. I ain't forgot. I got to take a screenshot. I got to take a picture of that recipe thing and send it to you, because it was real. It was really delicious. My bad. He like,
It sounds like it.
he said, where's my recipe? Okay.
Okay, folks, we're
Let
gonna
me
go
be
on
on my
our
business, Mr. Jones. Okay.
we're gonna go on our second break. We'll be back in 5 minutes with the final moments with Miss Jimetta Rose, all the way from LA, where it's bright and sunny and it's dark over here. See the
The
contrast?
sun is starting to go down.
It still look bright. It's brighter than here.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll BRB 5 minutes, and we'll see you guys very soon. Beautiful people of Twitch and YouTube, we are about to be back. Do me a favor, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, if you're on any social platform, retweet, reshare that this is happening. This is Jimetta Rose on the Art Block with me. Y'all need to act like y'all know, man. I appreciate y'all. I was gonna say we, but I appreciate y'all. I'm sure she does too. But yes, we're back. We're about to be back. Let me see some emo spam in the chat. Thank you for posting those links, y'all. Shout outs to my mods. Shout outs to my mods, and we're back with Miss Jimetta Rose with her beautiful hat and beads and sun and those glasses.
So
I love those.
everybody can see me?
Yeah, they can see you. So, okay, I was looking through like YouTube, and when you type your name in, other things pop up besides your channel, and I saw that you were on the Boiler Room.
Yes.
Now, my thing is like, for me, the Boiler Room, if I see somebody on there, like that's legit. Like how did that come about? Like was it like just like a big deal for you, or was
That
it just
was
like
a street corner music presentation.
Mhm.
It was a big deal. I was a little nervous because it was the first time singing the songs from The Gift live. And it was my first time meeting some of the producers from The Gift too, because like it was like a showcase for The Gift. So like series. And so Swarvy, he's my boy, he was there. Twami was there, I believe. What was the other KT was there. It was like all the different producers that had been on The Gift, whoever could make it was there that day. And so I think it was 4 of them featured. And then I sang songs from all of The Gift. And so, that was my first time singing those songs live. And it was crazy because it was like a real hip hop atmosphere. And so, like, I just remember Shoes and KT had to hold the mic because the mic was like dipping down. Like, it was crazy, no sound check. So it was like such a great opportunity, but it felt like, am I supposed to be up in here? Like with these like beat makers and stuff. So it always feels like, you really just have to own who you are and come in and try to like not kill the room or slay the room, but just, let them know who you are. And so I felt like that, even though I was in a room of my friends, it was like becoming a musical peer with them. Like, they all are beat makers, and it's like, okay, suddenly it's this singer. Hey, and suddenly it's this singer that is in the building and like supposed to be translating their beat, or using their beat to emote, and so you hope that they like what you did to their music, and and sure enough, afterwards it was all love, and like it's been nothing but love between me and the producers of The Gift, and just all the different producers I've worked with. It's always love, with my hip hop background. I really got a space in my heart for like just straight up beat makers, that used what they had to bring soul back, in my opinion. And then like now with people picking up their instruments again, the soul is coming back in a different way. And so it's just beautiful to have had that opportunity. Boiler Room was at Dub Lab. The old Dub Lab building is not even there anymore. So, I feel like it's beautiful to have been a part of that history and had an opportunity to be included.
That's amazing. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I got to bookmark this so I can watch the whole thing later. Because I was like, I love the Boiler Room. Anytime I see anybody on there, I'm like, yeah, this is it. I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and this has kind of been on my mind for a while. How do you feel about artists dating artists? Do you think that's something that should be happening? Because I feel like those are two titans clashing, and I feel like that never really like works out. It's always like really hot and heavy, then it explodes and fizzles out because like they just can't mesh.
Right, right. Well, I feel like communication, I feel like every relationship needs the same things. And even two artists, like if they're not being transparent about what they need to feel comfortable and if their needs are being met, and that's bound to kaboom. And then, also, if I feel like with artists, if you're dating an artist, you got to definitely believe in what they do, because it's like it's not a type of thing that you can just like date, be with someone and not believe in like the main thing that they're passionate about, even if it's just believing in them uh being able to do it. Like, not maybe not be all successful at it, but just like you appreciate what they do. I think that that goes a long way in both ways. And a lot of times artists work um differently as far as how they process things. And so like really being aware of and respectful of each other's process, I think can help artists date. But I don't know. I've always dated creative people. Um and I think that it's a win-win on both sides, because I had a friend that was like, I want a square person, so that it's some structure in my life and it's some this in my life. And so like if you're the type of artist that can't give that to yourself, you probably don't need another artist that's like that, because things are bound to spiral apart for sure. So maybe it's just about awareness of what you really need to thrive. And so for me, I think that it's so many different ways to be artistic, that I think that is a requirement in my mate, that he just be uh, very familiar with his creativity, and how he applies it, is up to him. Like, he could be a businessman that is creatively venturing into the world to impact it with Black excellence, or he could be um a a artist that paints all Black canvases. Whatever his vision is, if I believe in it, and well, not if I believe in it, if he is creative enough to make it work his way. Like, creativity is a lot of different things. I think like this podcast is very creative of you to have made a way to share your art and to inspire other people to maybe draw for this time and chill and like spend their time differently.
I
That
appreciate
that's
that.
creative. It's so many different ways to be creative. So I'm sure that whoever I end up with will be creative. I'm not sure if they'll be like an artist that necessarily shares all of their art. um they may be comfortable not sharing it, and if they are comfortable sharing it, I feel like the competition comes when an ego is out of control. But if it's enough space for everybody to succeed, I think that artists can be together and have different levels of success and appreciate the journey, if it's
Mhm.
not about the superficiality of it. And so I think when the ego gets involved in all human relationships, it goes kaboom.
You know what? As our people say, you better than me. Because last time I dated an artist who was also from California,
Wait a
it
minute,
just
wait. That's why you be having beef with the West Coast.
what?
See,
No, that's not. No. Don't do that.
I felt like it was some bias. I was like, what's happening? Like, why?
Don't be putting that
Okay.
narrative out there like that. Don't do that to
Ah.
me. But nah, like it's interesting because I feel like in my experience, because everybody's different, and we see great examples of artists who are successful in their marriage, their relationships. We got Jay-Z, Beyonce. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
but in my experience, it always just like there's always something off. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, let me find a lawyer or a dentist lady or something. Like, let me find something like, as you said, square. I'm like your friend.
That's what my homeboy said. That's exactly what my homeboy said. So like maybe that's what y'all need. Like maybe us artsy girls is a little difficult,
Yeah, y'all different.
but
Y'all built different. I don't know.
But I mean, if that's the case, so are you. So it's like, well, yeah, maybe for your built different, you need that. I don't know. I think someone with more structure is nice too, but it's sometimes hard to explain the way the scheduling and stuff might have to work with so I feel like with artists it's easier to like explain like the way the creativity may be flowing. You might have to go to the studio out of nowhere, or just you might end up getting hit with an idea and you need to like get it out. And until you get it out, you might not be no good company. Like, it's different things like that.
Yeah.
That it's a little bit harder, or just having to network or having to go out a lot. And, you know, uh you still have to go to clubs to perform and all this stuff. And so that's the difficulty of dating someone who's not an artist, is like that becomes something you have to explain. But with an artist it could still be a problem because they could assume that you're doing bad stuff, because they know the environment or
Yeah.
whatever. So I think it's just about people making it work. Like you meet somebody and if it's worth it, you make it work. You want to get to know them. You want to get to know how to navigate these differences that you might have. And I think that in these days and age, everything is so like instant. Everything, like everybody expects like instant gratification, to where people don't really do relationships the same. It seems like,
They sure don't.
yeah, it just seems like a little rush in it all, and like not really trying to romance or get to know the person like from either angle, because like it used to be romance from both sides. I really appreciate, shout out to my homeboy Tully and his fiance Danielle. I love how she like also romances him. She's like, she got him a nice silver bracelet. Like, they
Yeah.
dote on each other. And it's really good to have somebody in your corner. And so thinking of relationships as teamwork as opposed to, only the physical aspect or only this. It's like, no, it's really great to have somebody that when you come home feeling beat up after a day can still make you smile somehow, or can just hug you, like whatever you need. And it's like that is the privilege of being with somebody, because like solitude is sacred. Your peace of mind is sacred. So the person should add to the quality of life. And when they don't, you have to wonder why, and you're intrigued enough to figure out like how y'all can navigate those. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, as soon as I catch a whiff of like disrespect, or like you don't see me the same way I see myself, like, oh, you think I'm one of these ladies out here, and it's like, that's fine. Definitely go get her. Go get that lady, because no, like, I can't. I feel like a queen. I would like to have a gentleman that thinks of himself highly, and thinks of himself royally as well, and we project that together and protect that together, because we want to keep that vibration high, and so I look forward to seeing how that journey goes for me as an artist. I don't know if it'll be somebody that is an artist as well or what, but yeah, time will tell that. I'm interested. I'm like, what's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pass the offering plate around. When it comes to you, drop some money in there for our guest preacher, Jimetta Rose.
Oh, snap. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Because they saying amen in the chat, so I'm just saying, we pass around the offering plate.
Amen. For real. See,
now,
I can't see the chat. They can see me. I didn't know y'all could see me.
Now I see the sun going down, so we're gonna wrap this a little quicker. One last thing I need from you: what's going on in the Jimetta Rose world? There's anything you want to promote, anything you want to talk about, anything coming out soon? Go.
Well, I just we just released the album for the Voices of Creation. How good it is on Daydreamer Records, Night Dreamer Records, in partnership with the Morin Sound. So shout out to all our partners on that. Do check that out. It's on all DSPs, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, you can find it. And my album with House Shoes came out earlier this year. Definitely, if you haven't heard that, check it out. That one's called The Gift, Around the Way Queen. And the next step with that is releasing. I designed like a clothing line, like it's like a merch line for that, and I'm gonna make that live on my website as soon
Nice.
as I can get the pictures to show up the right way. And so we're working on that on the back end, but merchandise coming for that. And I'm gonna be recording some new music with the choir, and we'll be doing some shows here in LA, and hopefully we'll be traveling in the next year, early next year. So hopefully we'll make it out to New York and
Hey.
wherever else people are listening from. I'm really trying to get the choir everywhere we can go. But beside that, I'll also start working on some solo Jimetta Rose stuff, and like you said, the writing and everything. So I'm just stay tuned for more expression and creation from me, but also hopefully some just beautiful ways of uh like sharing my process of my daily process. Like that's why I started posting my prayer pictures and my plant watering pictures, because like, you know, it could seem like, oh, she's people can say like, oh, you can't be happy like that all the time, or you can't be so positive all the time. And it's like, well, let me be a little bit more transparent in all the work that I do to actually stay in this vibration. And
Mm.
so I'm trying to share more, so if I could figure out more ways to do that. And then it's cool, like exploring this, having more time, because I left my job in June to be completely self-employed. And so like just even being careful about how I talk about it, you know, not saying I don't have a job no more, or something, you know, saying that I'm self-employed now, and that you know, I took some time away from work to focus on music and to see if I can make this be my main source, you know, of sustenance and provision. And so far, you know, I feel pretty good with how things are going forward, and really excited about trying things new, like coming on this podcast. I really wish that I could have, you know, flexed my drawing skills, because, you know, they're there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like we are having a sunset together, because it's like,
Yeah, I know, right? That thing going down fast too.
yeah, it went behind that hill for sure. I'm like, can you see me?
Thank you to my mods for posting on Twitch and YouTube for those links. So please go to follow those links. Go check out her website. Go check out the Voices of Creation. Go check out her Twitter, the DSPs. Go listen to all the music. Miss Jimetta Rose, it's been an absolute pleasure having you tonight. Despite the fact that we didn't get the draw, we'll figure that out next time. But thank you again. I appreciate you. And we're going to close out with another one of your videos. So everybody don't move. We're going to have another video playing as we end for the night. It's the Blacklight video. And yeah, we will see you again soon and see you across the social medias.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you, Coco Mommy. Is it Coco Mommy?
Coco Queenie.
Coco Queenie. Thank you, Coco Queenie and Boomaye. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. It really was a great pleasure to chill. I'm gonna go and read the chat now. So if you left me a message or something, I'll see it. And yay. Thank you for having me, Hap.
All right. Take care.
Peace, peace.
like to run. Lie down,
All right, y'all. So that was Jimetta Rose. Thank you all for coming through tonight. This was the last episode of September, but don't worry. The Art Block will return in October with a whole host of new guests. And as far as my streaming content, make sure you're following me across social media. Everything at Habtunes. Links should be dropping in the chat right now. If you want to check out the schedule for any updates, go to habtunes.com/schedule. Oh, I was making sure. I was like, let me make sure I'm not muted. But thank you all again for coming through. Shout outs to my mods, my big mods, Coco and Boomaye Coco Mommy now. She's changing it. She's officially changing her name to Coco Mommy. But yes, thank you all for coming through. Thank you to the new follows. Really do appreciate y'all. And yeah, until next time, stay rad, stay dope, stay gold, and we out. Yeah, I got a whole staff.